So guys, how much quant QNT is enough? All right, that's what I'm discussing in this video, and I'm going to go on a couple different ways of hitting this question. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about what most quant holders actually own. How much do most of us actually have in our possession? And for funsies, we'll do the what makes you a whale, a shark, an octopus, a minnow. We'll call a little bit of a comparison to give you an idea. Not like you should ever compare yourself to others in life, but if you're looking for goals, it is a damn good way of figuring out the next step of where you want to go, especially if you're a long-term holder. And then also just how to figure out what your own enough is. So when I used to watch a lot more crypto YouTube, I would see videos like this all the time, and I just assumed that they did well. And maybe they do for people. I don't know. But what I have learned surprisingly is how many people actually ask this. So there was several of you that I tagged in this video because I've been asked this question, again, just a lot more than I thought I would. But I realized I think I'm in the perspective of a long-term holder. And please put down your answer in the comments below. But I'm expecting the most common answer is going to be something like more, right? Or, you know, always one more has kind of been my new answer to everybody. But I do want to get a little bit more in depth because I feel like, though that is an honest answer to me and probably to a lot of you, it's also kind of useless to the people who are asking. Because I've had people ask, is 5 or 10 enough? And I've had people ask, is 100 enough? So I want to go into a little bit of detail today of why I think X amount should be enough. And we'll do a little comparison to help you get a decision made. Because I do think a good strategy for a lot of crypto is deciding how much you want to own and how much in a certain price based off of what you want to sell it at. Now, I personally kind of throw that model away when I'm looking at, I'm going to hold quant until it gets to astronomical prices, because honestly, I just think it's going to be a big part of the future of finance. But I think that's enough rambling of an intro. If you guys have been here before, or you come here frequently enough, or you've seen me on your feed, there's a couple buttons down there to like and subscribe specifically. If not, let's continue with this video either way. So first off, a few things most of you already know, but let's rehash a couple of things, shall we? Obviously, Quant is one of the furthest things from a meme coin that you can even get. It's a lot different than other layer ones. There's a fixed supply of tokens, 14.88. After the initial burn, I think it's closer to 14.6. But there's no inflation, there's no emissions, there's no staking yet. But that's not going to be printing Quant out of thin air. It's already in reserves. This is why the amount of big holders matter. It's why large wallets don't even sell, and they don't sell frequently. You can see there's a lot more older buyers and holders of Quant than there are of Bitcoin. Yes, part of that is because of how much Bitcoin has gone up for a long-term holder versus Quant. But the point still holds that there's a lot of people that hold a strong belief in this for the long term. And when I communicate and talk with you guys, a lot of people are holding this to around the 1,000 marker. A lot of people are holding it to the 10,000 marker. And then a crap ton of people are talking about the 100,000. So whether you think it's going to get to what price on what time frame, people are holding this damn thing, which is great. Also keep in mind that a lot of the top holders, certainly not all of them, but a lot of the top ones are banks, enterprises, partner institutions, licensed wallets, right? For everything from the fees and the licensure that banks are going to have to pay for. So these are sell-resistant owners. That is awesome. Nothing holds a price up higher than people who can't sell the fucking thing, right? And it's just good news for it's why Quant has been infamously known as a stable coin, because people don't sell it. Yeah, retail doesn't buy it generally. That's just better for us. It's kept the price down suppressed for a long while. So let's talk about the holder distribution. So on-chain data shows majority of retail holders own fairly modest amounts of Quant, which kind of substantiates the people asking if like 5 or 10 is enough. Most of retail own hundreds or fewer tokens. The biggest whales, again, these are the exchanges, the institutions, the staking pools, the treasury wallets. And I want to keep them somewhat separate, but we definitely have to acknowledge them because there's only, sub 15 million tokens out there. So I'll pull up the chart in a minute to show the distribution of Quant, but before I go into too much more about how much is enough, is do realize this is individual, right? Like I know for me, looking at Quant as one of my long-term kind of retirement plans is at first I wanted 50, right? And then I wanted 100. And then I just kept setting new goals to keep going. And I don't think I'm going to really stop that until we get to a certain price. Like in my mind, and I'm very well allowed to change this thought, is to me, everything under $120 is buyable. I'm not saying I'm buying all the time. Like right now, if it dips back down into the 70s, is a good buy zone. Um, After a while, let's say if it just holds around 140 or something for a bit, then maybe 110 would be a good buy zone. But each individual has a different amount that they're looking for. If you're looking to sell Quant at $1,000, figure out what your goal is. If you want $50,000, I guess you got to buy 50 of them, right? So, I mean, if you have a target in mind, a selling target, and timing isn't of the essence, because one of the best gifts of investing is not having a time requirement. But that aside, if you don't have a time requirement and you just have a price that you want to get it to, figure out what you want your profits to be, and there's your easy ass number. A lot of it comes down to how much do you think it's going to be worth. If you're in the club that's going to be worth $10,000 by 2030, do quick math of how much 100 is going to get you, how much 50 is going to get you, how much 217 is going to get you, right? If you're more on the long term of I'm holding this bitch out to 2040, it's going to be worth 50 grand to 100 grand, same thing. Do the math or just keep collecting. But I'm going to pull up a little chart that I used. I did use AI to help me out with this because there's an algorithm for figuring out if you've ever seen, like, are you a whale? Are you a minnow? Are you a dolphin or an octopus? This is some random marine animal to get an idea of where the wallet holders are on the amount. I got AI to help me out with that because I wanted to neglect non-retail, because most whales are everywhere from like 10,000 to hundreds of thousands of Quant. But let's go ahead and look to see what we have once I neglected out what appear to be all the whale wallets. So guys, comment down below. Let me know which one you are and or which one you want to be. So very simply, if you guys are just looking to collect a little bit, you want to be a krill, you want to be in the game, and you just want to see where this thing goes because you're not confident, you haven't done your research, you don't know what type of gem you hold. 1 to 5 Quant. Krill, awesome. You're looking at the minnow or the fish, 5 to 20. Again, these are just animals, right? But it does give you a comparison. This is a percentage breakdown of the amount of people that own these things. So pick a level that you want to get to, and it gives you a nice little target to strive for. Do not spend your money recklessly. Only spend what you can afford to lose. Closest thing to financial advice I give here, because I give none. Octopus, 20 to 100. Are you a dolphin swimming around at 100 to 500 Quant? We get to the large holders. If you're a shark, 500 to 2,000 Quant. Big sharks, these big guys, 2,000 to 10,000. So if you look at this, even like 50 or 100 Quant puts you ahead of almost all of retail holders. Now, if you're a little bit more curious about with the whale holders, because I feel like I heard some of you guys right now think, well, I'm curious about the whales too. Retail's nice, but how's everybody doing? Let's look at that little graph real quick. This shows more of the percentages, and this is including the large whale wallets. So if we look down here, about 67% of Quant owners are in this whale institutional wallet category of 10,000 plus. This again, retail does not jump into Quant. It's why if you own any, you're very much ahead of the game. And then you look to see where you are percentage wise. Now this again is including the whales. You guys can yell at me in the comments below. I did not do a percentage breakdown for Xing the whales out. But this does let us know where we are compared to the whole market. Feel free to freeze this if you want to see what percentage and category we're at. Just for reference, in this case, 1 means 100. So we're looking at getting to a full percent. So 6.67 is 67% of the whale institutional major wallets. You can go ahead and see where you're compared to everybody else. These numbers on the side is kind of the USDC value of what you own depending on what price you buy it at or that it gets to. So you have 5 Quant at 100, 500, 5 Quant at 1,000, 5,000, 5 Quant at 5,000, 25. Just gives a quick little breakdown so you can go ahead and get a better idea, I guess, of if you want to calculate how much should you own at certain price ranges. So the key takeaway here is I kind of hit this, but there is no universal number, right? It depends on your entry price, kind of your risk tolerance. I would say more so your time. How long are you willing to hold it, right? The price you actually plan to sell at. These are the three big ones. The price entry and where you want to sell it at. Those are the two largest. The next one I would say is the time tolerance. Are you willing to wait? Okay. So whether you think Quant becomes part of global financial plumbing and how long you're willing to wait, if we get the adoption that many of us are expecting, then just having the power of patience is the biggest deal. And just wait another 3 to 10 years versus selling the next 3 could be incredibly different on how much quant you need for your goals. And I can also let you know if you're not sure, you're like, do you know what? I don't know. I like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're safe. I understand them. Quant is still, I guess, technically, it's in the experimental stage to a certain extent, like it's being tested on. There's been nothing officially verified with it. Okay. But if you're willing to hold it for 10 years, the most of us retailing quant is right. Your 5 to 10 quant, you'll be happy with where it was, and you'll just regret not buying more later. And if you're going to regret something, that's the way to go. So it's one of those cool things about quant is you don't need thousands of quant to see meaningful gains if you're willing to wait a couple of years for it. To where even just 5 to 10 quant at 5K per token, you're talking 25 to 50,000, right? So quant isn't something most people trade, which is another big deal. It stays stable. It's something most people just accumulate. We like collecting them. They're shiny to us. We want to hold them on display in our cold storage wallets to bring them out on a rainy day when the price adds a couple of digits ahead of the decimal. So supply is tiny, tokenomics are tight, and adoption is the real driver. And it looks like it's going to be adopted very well in the near future. So the real question isn't how much quant is enough, is how much quant helps you hit the goal that you want, and how much can you get in the right time frame before it really does go parabolic from use cases. Now, I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. You know the drill. There's stuff down below. Tell me about it. What are your thoughts? What wonderful marine animal are you or do you want to be? Where are you going to end up selling your quant at? And do you have a goal for amount of quant to accumulate, or you're really just in the I'm buying that shit when I can? Let me know, guys. I'm curious. I'll talk to you all again soon. Peace.